Hey guys, what's up? It's Arica Angelo, your dating and relationship expert, and I am with CEO and founder. Go ahead.
Alessandro Schiassi.
Well, he said it much better than I could, and he owns the new dating app that is revolutionizing dating, and it's called Magnet. You have to get it. We'll put a link below. And we're talking about sex, and the 50 Shades Darker is coming out. Every woman is out there reading the books. She's gonna watch the movie, but what about you guys? Many men are like, what do women want? Is it about going into a room and getting spanked? Is that what it's all about? What are we missing? Well, we're here to tell you what you're missing. So I wanna ask you a really interesting question. What is it, speaking of all that, what is it, I believe that there are two different things. A woman, there are certain things that she wants when it comes to sex, and then there's a whole nother flavor of what a woman desires in sex. What would you say, like, what is it that a woman really wants when it comes to sex?
So want probably, and again, I didn't look up of the definition, so it's more like street talk.
Okay, let's do it.
Want is like, okay, I want this series of things.
Okay.
While desire sometimes is something, it's coming from within, you don't even know. So in the heat of the moment,
Yeah.
literally, maybe you say, oh yeah, well, I was desiring this thing.
Right.
So they're like one is more logical,
Right.
where it's a series of,
Necessity.
more like to-do list, if you want.
Mm-hmm.
While the other one is more like, okay, let's do this. And
Right.
I feel like this point, since we did this, we can get there. So it's again more emotional rather than logic.
So I would think, like, as a woman, some of the things I would want that are like necessities. One, I want to feel like I'm safe, you know.
Yes.
It's like even the whole premise of that movie, like even though he was exposing her to things she wasn't used to, she had safe words that would protect her in that.
Those are key.
So
and it's part of communication, as
absolutely.
we talked earlier in other videos.
Right. So a woman, you know, we want to feel safe when we're exposing the most intimate thing. Another thing is we want to feel valued, you know.
Oh, yeah.
What is it that makes us special? What makes us different from every other woman that you've been with? Like, be like, hey, I've seen those boobs. They look like every other girl I've seen. What? Worst thing to say ever.
Yeah, you need to feel unique. That's another something we mentioned earlier. We're like, okay, the girl needs to feel like in the center of the attention, especially during sex.
Yeah, and I would say the third one is that I want a man to feel confident, comfortable, and in control when he's doing it. Like, I want him to lead me into it. I want him to woo me in and lead me into this story, lead me into this adventure or journey.
Yeah, and again, storytelling.
Yeah.
We connect the topics.
Absolutely. But now desire, that's something totally different. It's when you're in the middle of sex, like you can like see things like, let's say you're watching 50 Shades Darker and you like see the things that they do and you go, oh no, I would never do that.
Yeah.
But when you're in the moment and that heat's going, you're like, wait a minute, that arousal starts burning within you. You're like, I do this to me. I'd like to try that.
Yeah, it could be a combination of you feel kind of inebriated while you're having sex.
Yeah.
So probably the lack of blood to your brain too. It's like,
oh, there's that.
Yeah, or again your hormones, or something about instinct where you want to try new things because that's how maybe it's a new thing to pleasure yourself.
Right.
Something you've never tried before. So.
Right.
In this case, the movie is showing her like trying new things. They're not just basic sex.
Right.
Of course, with consent, that's important. With communication and safety, both physical and mental safety.
Sure.
Because I don't want to do something that you're gonna regret later.
Right.
So it's important to arrive to a point where, okay, I have this safety net around.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. In this case, I can try this, and that.
Right.
Because, who knows? Until you try something, you don't know if you like it or not.
Right.
You
I'm pretty sure
guess.
when Richard Gere tried that hamster in his butt, that was not something. I'm just joking. I don't know if that's true.
Desire.
He's like, that was a bad idea once he was at the emergency room. Just kidding. I don't even know if that story's true. But anyways, so another interesting element. When a woman, let's say she's in the bedroom and she takes that risk and she says, I want you to do this to me. As a man, you have to feel the way that you respond to her is everything. If you go, really? You want me to do that? I mean,
so
oh my God.
First, you shouldn't be judgmental.
Yeah.
Again, if it's I don't understand why sex is so ashamed while it's something you're giving pleasure to someone else.
Right.
It's like telling a joke, something, wow, why you making me laugh?
Right.
So again, violence is okay, but it's not okay. Sex while you're actually giving pleasure to another person, to yourself. So that's something, that society is bringing that direction. I think it's wrong, but hey. So again, not being judgmental is really important.
Yeah.
And if you want to know what she's into, you have to be the first to tell what you're into.
Right.
So she feels okay. She's opening up. I can open up myself.
Right.
Otherwise, it's like, why are you asking questions? And then, what are you doing? Gonna judge me later?
Totally.
So.
I think the perfect response, if I was with a man and I said, hey, I want to do this. If he looked at me and said, okay, sweetheart, I'm happy to explore that with you. Yeah. Like, that's such a safe answer. That makes me feel, one, that I'm his sweetheart, so I'm valued by him.
Yeah, like it's a respect. Like,
it's,
okay.
And you're not going to do this alone. I mean, the whole point of sex is coming together. And so saying, I'm happy to do this journey. I'm happy to explore this with you. I think that's such a beautiful answer.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a teamwork. Otherwise, it's called masturbation. So
yeah,
just do it by yourself. You can think of all the fantasy you want.
Yeah, but when you're actually with a person,
that's when you start like to.
So you were talking about something in the video before this one, and we were talking about vulnerability.
Yes.
I think that's a huge subject that most men are not, like, if they're on YouTube, like, they're like watching very stupid stuff about like what to do with women and sex, but this is what actually a woman responds. I know as a woman myself, I respond to this. So talk about this.
Yeah, so as we talked about how women are not allowed to talk about sex or in this society, we should also mention that guys are not allowed to show their emotions.
Right.
The macho is like, oh, you're tough, you're like a warrior, you're not allowed to cry because of these reasons. So it's creating like an imbalance on the men's side where you have to show you're always like perfect, even if inside you want to
be a bit messy.
Yeah, to scream. So watch a movie with her, cry, show your side, like, hey, I really think this and that. It's not gonna make you less masculine. Actually, gonna make you more in charge of the situation in a way. It's like, hey, those are emotions. I have those. I'm not a robot.
Exactly.
So, hey, that's how I am. So again, you open yourself. She's gonna open herself too.
Right.
And since she's allowed to cry, she's gonna open herself about sexuality.
Right.
So it's like an exchange. Like, hey, show my sensible and weak side, which is not even vulnerable.
A vulnerable side, sure.
That's the word. And she's gonna show her like sexy side.
Absolutely. I feel like when a man doesn't show that, and he's always so-called masculine and strong and the warrior and this and that, and he doesn't ever show those vulnerable sides. To me as a woman, that doesn't make me feel safe. No. That makes me feel like, oh, well, I have to perform to meet him where he's at. Like, I can't show those sides of myself to him because he's never shared that with me. And to me, it starts, for me as a woman, I start shutting down. Yeah, because you're hiding your emotions. So the woman is wondering, what else is he hiding from me?
Yeah, it's like, I don't want a robot, I want a human.
Yeah.
That's all the spectrum of emotions. I want to see them. Yeah. To see if we are compatible.
Yeah.
If you don't cry watching Toy Story 3, probably not.
You're a robot. Because everyone cries in the middle of Toy Story 3.
Or up, after 10 minutes. If you don't cry, it's so it's good to watch those movies or even read books and talk about it. It's like, oh, wow, what's crying about this.
When I see that a man can do that, I see him as a whole man. When I see a man if he's not able to access that, to me, and maybe this is because I'm a coach, I look at him and I think he has more work to do. He hasn't fully found himself and he's not able to express himself, and that actually shuts me down. I think, you know what, you'd be a great client, but I can't be in an intimate relationship with
it's
you.
again, it's a lack of confidence and not showing that you have emotions.
Yeah.
That's it. And lack of confidence means unattractiveness.
Yeah.
On each side, even if a girl is not like showing me emotions of any kind, it's like, hey,
It's weird.
It's wrong.
It's very odd.
Yeah.
I think that vulnerability is such a huge key element when it comes to sex. I think think about it. You are showing your body to another person. You're showing different aspects of yourself that you're not showing to anyone else but that person in that moment. And that requires great vulnerability. And so I think it has to be in the bedroom and outside of the bedroom as well.
That's again communication of every single step.
Right.
That's not just about texting while you're meeting, before, during, after sex.
Right.
That's even just after sex, you say, hey, what did you like?
Oh, I think that's beautiful.
It's like debrief.
Right.
We're like, okay, I really enjoyed this. I'm probably not gonna try this again.
Right.
And then you simply, okay, for next time we could do this, and that, according to what we like.
Right.
If you keep doing something and you didn't like it, eventually that relationship is not going anywhere.
I think it's so weird, and maybe this is just an American thing, but like you see it in the movies and people even talk about it, like in social media and stuff. It's like when people are having sex and then they like lay and then they're quiet, and then the guy wants her to leave the apartment, or she's hoping that he'll take her to breakfast, and there's that awkwardness, and it's like, why? Like, how can you go from comfortable, naked, vulnerable to like just awkward? I can't comprehend
You're passing
that.
from desire
Yeah.
to, I wanted that, but I'm not sure anymore.
Yeah.
And it's all about like, also, after an orgasm, your chemistry is changing.
Right.
So again, especially for guys, I realize after you had an orgasm, you're kind of like, okay, now let's see how is the situation.
Right.
So
right.
In that case, you should be the man and cuddle and stay there. Otherwise, you're using this person just for satisfy yourself.
Yeah, and that's selfish.
Yeah.
And gross. I love what you said though about talking about what you experience afterwards. I think that that's such a beautiful thing, and I think it could almost be an invitation for round 2.
Yeah.
Because once you start talking about it, you start heating
Oh,
up,
yeah,
you start desiring it, you start getting horny again. You're like,
absolutely.
and then you go back into
communication. It's actually getting more and more. Otherwise, it's just one thing. Was it something you were looking for? Was part of what you want or desire, or?
And it's talking about the story that they just experienced.
Yeah. Again, you create a story so you can talk about it. Storytelling, and then create more and more and more. It's like a circle of things you.
Absolutely. I so love this. Thank you so much for coming and sharing this, because I feel like we're talking about things that nobody else is really talking about.
Yeah.
These guys are out like getting techniques and this and that, and it's
strategies.
Just, and strategies, and like
it's more simple that they try to show you.
Yeah.
Honestly, like when you get the basis, then you simply experience until you find a person that's like really into you, and you're into that person too. So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And guys, make sure that you go and get Magnet, the new dating app that everyone's talking about. You have to jump on board and get this. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.